when my youngest, the youngest of the boys, left and bought his own house, and she was left alone in that huge barn-like structure. And we'd say, "Aren't you afraid?" And she'd say, "No." She was very religious. You know, she had the creche and the altar in the home, and she had the medallions, and she burned candles, and the old-fashioned Catholicism from her native land. Mm-hmm. And for being such a little person, she was very, I think, brave and very smart, and really is the heart of that Rodriguez family. Mm-hmm. Although my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, raised me, and you know, she fed me and clothed me, and it was from this grandmother that I got the polish of being a young Latina woman, you know.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, there were customs, you know, and I had a little story here. I could go into the grocery store, and she would let me have a Coke, or she would let me have corn chips or whatever, but it wasn't like I could just have everything. Mm-hmm. And when I lived across the street, I had an uncle on my mother's side with 5 children, and all of my cousins lived in the neighborhood. So one afternoon or one morning, as they were delivering, the big Coca-Cola truck was delivering to my grandmother's grocery store, we decided to take some Cokes off the truck. We must have been like 8, 7. We thought we were so smart. We sneaked up and took the Cokes off and thought, there's so many Cokes on that thing, you'll never miss them. Well, we thought we got away with it, but we didn't. The next time I went over, my grandmother said, you know, you could have been in a lot of trouble for stealing. Stealing is like the worst thing any young lady can do. And I paid for the Coke so that y'all wouldn't get into trouble. But I want you to know I won't do it again. Mm. He says, you have to be very careful about the company that you keep. And young, nice ladies don't do that sort of thing. Or if I was raggedy clothes or something, she would sew my, you know, as a kid, you were always hanging on or tearing your stuff, and she would sew it for me and say, young ladies don't go around with. So that refined behavior of young Latina ladies mm-hmm. was what I got from her. Mm-hmm. So she had a great impression, very different from the other grandmother.